Ladies and gentlemen, is it true? Is the sky falling? As Snyder Cut fans, are we finally at the point of where hashtag cancel HBO Max is the only way to proceed to restore the Snyderverse? Hell if I know, but you know what? Why don't we talk about it right now? Hey everyone, how you guys doing? It's been kind of an interesting day, hasn't it? It's been kind of a fun day. Last couple hours have been very fascinating to watch unfold, as normally. Joined by my friend RJ here, who might have a different take on this than I do. I felt like we might need to have a bit of a heart to heart tonight, a bit of a situational awareness stream. And so I wanted to talk about how more or less it does feel like the Snyder Cut fan base is turning into Chicken Little and claiming that the sky is falling. I don't know about that's how I take it. RJ, how are you? How are you feeling today?
I'm doing good. A lot of anger, a lot of emotions tonight. A lot of you know, anger. Anger is the best way to put it.
Well, like okay, but like who are you
Not for
angry
me
at?
though. I'm not personally angry. I should say like
Well,
anger at the
you sound
environment right
kind of
now.
downtrodden. You sound kind of downtrodden on it, right? So I'm
I
kind
mean,
of
like I tweeted. I said I just don't know what to say at this point because it seems like every single day there's something.
well, yeah, right, yeah. It's been like that for a little bit, hasn't it? Where I mean, as I keep saying, uh, they don't want to work with Zack, right? And they keep making that abundantly clear all the time. But for some reason, people out there don't want to listen to that. They don't want to listen to it because they think that this situation is the same as the previous situation, which is it's not. It's not at all. Now, because just to be clear, to clarify, the Snyder Cut was filmed. This going forward is nothing's been filmed yet, and so there's a lot
No,
of
of
it.
course, of course. I think where the issue comes in, it's like it's adding insult to injury by having an official HBO Max PR account on Twitter retweet something that kind of disses the fans in a way,
Yeah, but
or at
then
least that's what it looks like to some people.
they unretweeted it.
Well, true. That's
Unretweeted
a
it,
good thing. Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Because how easy is it to retweet something?
Well, it's very
Pretty
easy. I
very
mean,
simple. And here's the tweet in question from a relative nobody, by the way. This guy's
yeah,
a
it's
relative
from a
nobody.
website called Decider.
Decider is not a small. I mean, they might be smaller, but they've got a following, and he's verified, which is one of the things I think that a lot of people are taking the most umbrage with, is the fact that he's a check mark, because there's a big thing about how blue check mark is considered a pejorative on Twitter, right? But the thing is here, look at what he says. He says that Wonder Woman 84, Godzilla versus Kong, and Mortal Kombat are the three biggest opening weekend numbers for HBO Max. And the truth of the matter is, he is correct. He is actually correct. The data that we have, even with the Snyder Cut from Samba Television, shows us that it did still come underneath Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman did have a theatrical release internationally. Godzilla had a release internationally. Mortal Kombat had a release internationally and domestically. Sorry, Godzilla also had domestic. So when you look at the idea of what they're talking about here, yes, those are the bigger draws. The Snyder Cut did well, and it really this guy's his a little he had a snarky little tweet there. Okay, that little snarky thing at the end, which I'll admit.
Which is also in the article. The article said something similar. The article said something like, sorry to all of you who've campaigned for 4 years to get the Snyder Cut released or something. That was also in the article, not just his tweet.
Yeah, I'm looking at that. I'm looking at that right now. I didn't have time to save it to my phone to be able to put it on my phone. But okay. So this is what the Decider article says that you clipped out, and it says that Keelar's plan to boost HBO Max subscribers with blockbuster movies is working. A Warner Media exec told me this week that DC's Wonder Woman 84, monster mashup Godzilla vs Kong, and video game adaptation Mortal Kombat, all big expensive franchise films, have been the three biggest opening weekend movies since HBO Max launched nearly a year ago. Sorry to those who spent the last 3 years clamoring for the Snyder Cut. Now, that is not necessarily like attacking the Snyder Cut, but it is being snarky. But
Yeah.
I mean, like we have at least the numbers of the other three films to go, yeah, no, they've done quite well. And since Warner's has yet to actually release the data on the Snyder Cut, and let's just be fair at this point, they're not going to be doing it, right?
We're never going to get the official numbers. No, we're never going to get them.
Unless Zack tells us, because Zack would be able to get the numbers, or if there's somebody who works at HBO Max, you know, who is sympathetic and reaches out and tosses out the numbers, then you're going to get an idea. But until then, it's all estimation, right? But what I find to be fascinating about this is the fact that, yeah, you had an official HBO, Max verified Twitter PR account like and retweet something, and they probably did it without reading it all the way through, and then when they started getting pushback, they untweeted it and they removed the like. So,
right.
and
well, it makes sense too as well because the Snyder Cut is a big part of HBO Max, and they don't want any sort of negativity surrounding that either because that brings in money and views, and they know that.
Well, I mean, all things considered, they haven't said it. All things considered, they haven't come out and said that it's made them any money. I mean, given the financial investment of $70 million plus marketing, I would argue that I would, I don't know how many people.
Right. I just don't transcribe to the thinking that people are starting conspiracy theories saying, well, this means that Wonder Woman, Godzilla vs. Kong, Mortal Kombat, they really didn't do that great. Who are they fooling? I mean, there is data backing up that these movies were successful. Honestly, I think fans would just take the numbers, whatever they were, for Snyder Cut and accept them. They just want the numbers.
At this
they
point,
just want to know what they are.
I completely disagree with you.
You think that they wouldn't accept any kind of numbers?
No, I don't think they would accept any numbers at this point. If they got the numbers, and I'm saying this as more of a tough love situation, because you've got there's this one guy, I don't know his name. He is a check mark, and he was really pro Snyder Cut, and then all of a sudden, even today, he's like, I canceled my HBO Max, and he's posting a screenshot of it. It's well, there you go, right? There you go. By trying to get cancel HBO Max to trend, what's happening is they're going to be able to use that as an argument to not release the Ayer cut or to not restore the Snyderverse.
Oh, are you talking about Richie Castaldo?
Yeah, I think that's what his name is.
Yeah, he retweeted my tweet when I replied to you about what was going on.
Yeah.
He has cancel HBO Max in his name. He posted the pictures, everything.
Yeah, and it's stupid. And it's absolutely stupid to do that. It's incredibly stupid to do that. It's like I kept saying when people were trying to rewatch the movie on repeat, and I'm you're talking about this on Twitter. They have people who are watching this on Twitter, so they're going to see that you're giving away the plot. And when you give away the plot, they can use it against you because they already know how to counter the argument. Because if it doesn't come across as genuine, then it's not going to be something that's going to be argued as being genuine. And I get the passion of the fan base, and I absolutely respect the passion of the fan base. But this is why this kind of stuff at this point is it's so reactionary. It is absolutely reactionary. And yeah, I agree with Brian here, Master of None, who says it's cannon fodder for those who hate on the movement. Exactly. Wasn't there a Twitch stream the other night that was full of haters that were just watching people go at each other over this nonsense?
Mm-hmm.
Right? There was a lot of that was going on. And so you have the situation, so all it gives ammo to those who want to see it die. So that's the whole point, is because this is the same thing we kind of had a problem with during Gamergate, was because there is no central leader, anyone can come up with an op, right? And anyone can run an op. And the ops, the idea of having a decentralized movement means that not every, there is no thought leader, whatever. There's always going to be a hierarchy. And there is a hierarchy. But I've noticed that a lot of the hierarchy in the Snyder Cut, movement, they'll retweet, restore it, and whatnot. But a lot of other stuff, it kind of seems like they keep their mouth shut. It kind of seems like they keep their mouth shut on a lot of it, and they don't really try to coordinate with anybody, and they really don't try to,
Well, that's the problem. You have movements like this, when people are so passionate about something, the most passionate people tend to be the most emotional kind of people. So you mix passion with emotion, any threat to what they're so passionate about equals like that very vitriolic emotional response.
Well, I agree. And Lords of the Longbox here says investors know the numbers. There's the public investors call, and then there's the private investors call. And yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure that would have come up, because it was meant to be an investment. But again, it just keeps showing that we're in a situation where they gave you what you wanted, right? They did. They gave the fans what they wanted. And I'm just going to be, this is a bold statement, but I stand by it. The fans weren't thankful, right? Because it never was, it really wasn't about like, there wasn't any moment of like, hey, thank you. It was always like, okay, what's next? What's next? What's next? We want more, 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 more. But leading up to that is when Zack kept saying like, they don't want to work with me, and I think that people got excited and they had a win and they thought they can keep going with this, but corporations are going to corporation. And if they do not sit there and actively like talk about these things, they're not working on it behind the scenes.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it also plays into the fact about just the way the Snyder Cut ended, the epilogue, and all the teases it had. Maybe if like it was more of a definitive ending, maybe that wouldn't have been the first reaction for some fans to like demand more. Maybe it would have been that peaceful, thankful phase first, then the restore campaign. Maybe.
Well, people already knew about the epilogue before the movie came out. They did. They knew about the epilogue.
There was some, wasn't there? Well, I mean, there was some new stuff thrown in though that some people didn't know about. Like, I mean, like the Joker stuff. I mean,
well, we didn't know exactly what it was, but like we knew it existed. So it was going to lead into something. Like we know that. So, and I know there's like a lot of people that like came into this. I think, look, here's the thing. Here's kind of the way you have to see it. Batman v Superman was pretty disliked right out of the gate. Okay. It was pretty disliked right out of the gate. And that was because of studio interference. But the other side of that is it took a long time for BVS, the Ultimate Edition, to kind of make its way around and to get a lot of people to finally come back around to it and just say, oh, okay, I was wrong. It took people time to get there. And the 2017 Justice League didn't help. So while there are more Snyder Cut fans now than there were, and there probably are more people, who have at least heard of the Snyder Cut now than before, it definitely makes a lot of sense that, like there's going to be more people that are willing to want more. But again, without there being any kind of organization, it all kind of comes across as just reactionary. I mean, like if you guys,
and all the internal fighting and a house divided cannot conquer anything.
Hold on here. Oki says here, because they not let fans 3 days after Zack Snyder Justice League and Sarnoff say, done, don't blame all fans, not fair though.
Okay, so, I think I get what he's saying. He's saying basically like, we didn't even get a moment to celebrate because immediately when the Snyder Cut came out, that Ant Sarnoff article hit, and we immediately had to go on the defensive. I think that's what Oki's trying to say.
Okay, fine. I get that. All right. But I also find that to be the most interesting way, where it's like, yeah, that article came out a couple days after the fact. It definitely did not do, it didn't do anything.
It emboldened people to want to fight.
And maybe that's what they wanted. Has any of you guys ever thought now at this point, they absolutely know how to goad you into getting mad and goad you into getting vocal and then to goad you into reacting, which when it comes down to cancellation, it looks like a bunch of entitled fanboys. And then I'll say this too. Like when Ray was out there talking about accountability over entertainment, and I floated the idea of, people who are retweeting him and they're standing by that, but they're not canceling their HBO Max account. I find that to be a little bit funny. And like the idea here is that not everyone is going to end up being, I don't know, like everyone is a hypocrite at one point in time or another. I myself included. But when you think about it, it's like they know how to poke your buttons, right? They know how to do this. So, Cherry Trap says here, I don't agree with this at all. My feeds were full of people praising the Snyder Cut for weeks. Well, yeah, people were going to praise it as they saw it, but what we're talking about here is there was already a demand for more before the movie came out. You know, it wasn't like Restore the Snyderverse was already being, pushed as a trending topic within days of the Ann Sarnoff interview coming out, because people, I get it. They wanted to show that she was wrong, but they don't care, you know, it's a business for them. This was a business decision. If it didn't yield the results that they wanted, they're not going to keep going with it. Andrew Casale here says, so they used us. Yes. Yeah, they did. I mean, HBO Max needed something big right off the bat, so they announced the Snyder Cut. So they put the money in because it was actually cheaper for them overall. And then, but no one was expecting the pandemic to last as long as it did. So they didn't make that particular choice to bring the movies to do the day and date releases when they greenlit the Snyder Cut. And it's possible that if they were looking at this through budgetary concerns, the cost of restoring the Snyderverse is too much for where we are right now. And that could be a reason why. Or Hamada is very desperate to make his own mark, and he wants to do his Hamadaverse. And keep in mind, they brought in Hamada in order to, keep the budgets low. So it's like, this took a toll. And so what they should do is they should release the goddamn Ayer cut at this point.
Yeah, that would be a very smart bone to throw at fans.
So, hold on here. Let me see. Let's see. Then Detective Bat here says they know how to push people's buttons. Half of them are giving into it. Yeah, I mean, I was looking at the cancel HBO Max hashtag, and I was just like laughing my ass off because
oh yeah, people are super angry.
Yeah, they're super pissed off, and it's their own fault. I know people don't want to hear it, but it's their own fault. Some guy with like 2,000 subs makes a crack about the Snyder Cut, and like people were getting mad at him before the HBO Max account retweeted it. And they're getting all mad, and they're, and like people, if you look at the comments there, that guy's own audience was like, well, they're going to be coming at you pretty hardcore.
And then that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, there's sometimes how to write an article. You know how to write an article that's going to piss people off. Because if you piss them off enough, what happens? You get clicks and you get views. Look at that CNBC article from the other day, right? Saying that Zack Snyder's Justice League fans didn't move the needle. And like everyone got up in a tizzy over that. Oh my God. Oh no. Right? Every time. It's like the sky is falling. It's like the sky is falling. But I'm not trying to be like the bearer of bad news. I'm not trying to be a dick. But it's like they keep repeatedly telling you that they don't want to work with them, that they don't want to work with Zack. They keep showing you, in many cases, not so very subtle terms. In the case of the Ann Sarnoff interview. But the problem, though, and I'll say this, the problem is when you look at people that are, I'm going to put this out there on scoopers. I'm going to put a lot of this on scoopers. Because the scoopers, while you've got the mainstream saying, no, it's done, you have Zack saying they don't want to work with me. You've got the scoopers saying, and this goes far back into even before the movie came out, people like the cultured nerds saying Ben Affleck has already signed a contract for everything. And of all this other stuff, all these people, they've been giving all of this false hope for a long time. And I'm friends with Mikey Sutton, and I know Mikey Sutton puts out a lot of stuff about AT&T and Hamada and Zack and all that stuff. And he sends me the articles, and I read his articles. And I'm like, cool. But to me, it's all wishful thinking. Like, I'm not going to get excited until I know there's been a contract signed, until I know there's actually been something that's been created. But in the meantime, it's just everyone getting up in arms over someone being critical. But then, like, they have almost no problem believing that, that someone who they don't know is telling them something they want to hear. It's like almost nonstop confirmation bias. And all it's doing is burning people out at an accelerated rate.
Yeah, I'm seeing on Twitter right now, DC Anon is trending. People are saying that DC fans have become conspiracy theorists, so they're making fun of them saying it's DC Anon.
I'm not. Wait, hold on. I'm looking right now. Um, I may not see it on mine because keep in mind that the trending is different for everybody.
Oh, I know.
So it's like when they say like restore the Snyderverse is trending. Well, that might be trending for you because you've tweeted about it, but that may not be out there for other people. You know. Let me see. I have a list here of top Twitter trending. Okay. So trends 24. I'm looking at I'm looking at what is the major trends right now. And the major trends right now, nothing is about, you know, like nothing is about any of the Snyder Cut stuff. The only pop culture things I see is like Percy Jackson, Paddington 2, PlayStation. Um, and that's really about it. There's not much that's there that's going to be entertainment. And this is like the top Twitter trends for the United States.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Paddington 2's been trending more than cancel HBO Max.
Yeah, well, there's a reason too, man. Like I hear Paddington 2 is a great movie. I haven't seen it,
You
but
need to watch the Paddington movies.
yeah, are they on streaming right now?
I could have sworn they were on HBO Max. I thought they were Warner Brothers movies.
Still, Jarbo stirring the pot again, dude. I look, man. So I love you, man, but you stir the pot more than me. You stir the
Oh,
pot more than me. So like, don't even ask. Don't even trip, bro.
so
You
Paddington 1 is on Hulu. Paddington 2 is on.
well, you sent it. I
Uh,
can't. What's the tweet here that you sent me? What is this?
oh, it's just one of the guys who runs what is it? Geek the GWW Geeks Worldwide.
Oh, what's this?
Yeah. He's the one who started this whole DC and on thing.
Oh, there's going to be a certain planet that's going to be talking about it.
Oh, I know, I know.
Yeah. Let's see here.
Yeah, he was responding to Sill and Zod Rider.
I don't.
Yeah.
Is it the guy that's got like a weird, like kind of like scrunchy face?
I have no clue, to be honest with you.
Honest. Okay, I can't. I don't know. I might be looking at the wrong one. Let me take a quick look here. The comics kit. Oh no, this is another account.
Yeah.
There we go. Someone else who had taken basically like the same thing. Okay, so this guy. Oh, Casey Walsh. Oh God, fuck Casey Walsh, man.
Oh, you don't like that guy?
No, Casey Walsh. No, he's a dipshit. He's a dipshit. He's not. I'm not a big fan of that guy. Um, no, Nick, they're not confirming no more Snyderverse. The Snyder fans are now moving into like cancel HBO Max trending territory where they're trying to get people to cancel HBO Max to stick it to Warner Brothers. You know, which to be fair, as I've said before, that is quite literally like the only way to do it. Like the only way to really make them feel it is to like, take away that source of income. It doesn't really work when you go like, well, we want you to give us this, and they say no, and then you say, well, fine, I'm going to stay paying you money every month. I mean, like, who's the sucker at that point?
If I may, some people are talking about this. Like, what if Army of the Dead is like the biggest Netflix movie ever? Like in terms
That
of
was
numbers and
Max
viewership.
saying that. That was Max
I
saying
know, but
that.
I'm just saying,
But
like,
we
what,
don't
like,
know yet. We don't
no,
know
I'm
yet.
saying if that happens, does that change anything?
It's going to be that he's going to look. Here's the thing. It's going to do well for Netflix. It's a zombie movie. It looks really stylish. It's got Zack Snyder. He is known right now. People are talking about him. But look, The Old Guard with Charlize Theron, who's an Academy Award winning actress, that came out last year, and 96 million people watched it. Extraction with Chris Hemsworth, came out at the beginning of last year, and a lot like again like 90 million households watched it. That seems to be like the threshold. I think Bridgerton did more, to be honest with you, but it's like no, it's not. This is the thing. Is like people are going to watch it. Like maybe hundreds of millions of people are going to watch it overall, or tens of millions of people are going to watch it. But that doesn't really mean much because Netflix never puts out the numbers.
Well, they kind of do, and it's when they can tout a huge number. They like to be transparent with the numbers a little bit, only when it's like huge.
So, and Andrew here asks, so Jarbar, are you telling us that you're seeing that this is all for nothing at this point? I've kind of been saying that for the last couple of weeks, to be honest with you. Like, I mean, I thought that they would say something on Investor Day. I really did. They didn't say shit. Where's what one mention, one reference to the Snyder Cut on a graph. That was it. They have consistently shown you that they do not care about continuing this universe.
Even still saying WB's done.
Yeah, I know, but he's still out there attacking HBO Max over it too. You know, like he's out there stirring the pot, man. I'm not out there stirring the pot. You're out there stirring the pot, so don't even trip.
Wait, so just real quick, how many viewers did the old guard get that you said?
I saw something like that. They said like 96 million households watched it.
Okay, so I'm looking here. They said the biggest Netflix movie of all time was Extraction with 99 million views.
Okay.
Army of the Dead would need to get like 100 million to be.
Yeah, I don't think that's gonna happen. Batista will be a big draw, but there's really not like who else in that movie is gonna be a big draw? Because not everyone is gonna care who the director is. You know? Right? Now, Arrow here says Chris Wong continues to believe that Warner Brothers will restore the Snyderverse. Well, Chris Wong Swenson is a very nice person, but I'm sorry, I don't see it happening. I just don't see it happening because it's not to say that down the road something may happen, but it's like the truth of the matter is the restore the Snyderverse in and of itself, it means different things to different people. There's no real unified message behind the tag, right? Is that, do you want Zack Snyder to do Justice League 2 and 3 to finish out the Nightmare arc and to finish up the Darkseid story? Some people would say, yeah, 100%. You go, okay, well, what about, do you want Zack Snyder to just be a producer and to carry forward characters in this universe? And there'll be others that say, yeah, that's what I want. To be honest with you, that's kind of where I'm at with it. Because I would prefer them to continue forward with other characters set in this world and then build back up to giving us Justice League 2 and Justice League 3. But the problem with it, too, is that Zack Snyder's in his mid-50s, right? I think he just turned 56 or 54, right? So he's in his 50s, his mid-50s, and he's been working on this now for 10 years. He's been in this world for 10 years. You know, I'm sure he as a filmmaker wants to go out and restore things. You know, he wants to go out and he wants to or try new things. And everyone's kind of holding him back. And at this point, I think he had more fun making Army of the Dead because they let him do what he wanted. And so so think about this from his perspective for a second. How do you think he feels during all this? Like, he doesn't want to let a consumer down. He doesn't want to say no to a paying customer. But like, don't you think that at this point he's just kind of like, I just want to get on to the next part of my life?
Yeah, I think it just might have to come to a point where he needs to just come out and say something. You know?
Well, yeah, and he should. He should be honest with people about it. And that is a complaint that I have. Because I don't think, because the thing is, like, Zack is not the most salient person when it comes to explaining what he thinks or how he feels about something. I've seen him live a bunch of times at Comic-Con, believe me, I know this is true. And you know, he kind of like, a lot of his thoughts kind of run together, and I get like that sometimes myself. So, but I think,
to me, I think we need to wait till after Army of the Dead comes out, see how well that does. I think Netflix might sign an exclusivity deal with them to be like an exclusive in-house director for them. So if that happens, that's when you know it's done.
I think it's something like that's already happened.
You think that's already happening behind the scenes?
Yeah. I mean, because have they given any other film franchise? I mean, the very first Netflix original film that was supposed to be a franchise was Bright, and that came out in December 2016. So it's been over 4 years since Bright came out.
Are they even making a sequel?
They're supposedly making a sequel.
Because I've heard like nothing about it.
About it at all. They haven't talked about any of that stuff yet, right? They haven't spoken about Bright 2 in quite some time. I don't even know if David Ayer is directing it anymore. Let me take a look here, right? But the idea here, though, is that was what they wanted to do. It was 2017 film. My bad. No, I thought it was 2016. Anyway, let's see here. Bright 2. It's supposed to be written and directed by David Ayer, And well, I mean, as of May.
Apparently it's a new director. It's a
Oh,
French director.
yeah, Louis Leterrier. He did the Incredible Hulk, and he did Clash of the Titans, Wrath of the Titans, and he directed. I think he did Now You See Me and Now You See Me Too, and then he also directed the Dark Crystal series for Netflix.
Huh. Okay.
So I mean, like, we don't know. Nothing's going. There's been almost no mention of that in almost a whole year. No mention of Bright.
I
So
will say though, what are DC fans going to do if the Flash and the Batman are huge successes? Like
I
we
see.
keep talking
I
about if they
definitely
fail. I'm
see.
just saying, what happens if they hit?
I see that uh that the Batman will be a big success, right? And I think Suicide Squad will be a big success.
Yeah,
I
well,
think
Suicide Squad is gonna be different though because it's an HBO Max component. So,
well, yeah, I plan on seeing the Suicide Squad in theaters.
oh yeah, same. Because by
So
that point I'll be vaccinated. So,
yeah. Um. Okay, Nick, I was wrong. I said 2016, it was 2017. So I was wrong on the year, but it's but I'm saying it's like Netflix. They want to do more with that, so they would have bought the rights to that, explained it. I mean, they seem to do a lot of sequels to like romance movies, right? Like to All the Boys I Loved Before, they did a trilogy. The Kissing Booth, there's a trilogy. They actually announced, I think, that the third one comes out in August, like today, right? So it's like if they're already giving Zack a prequel film, which they've already filmed, and they're giving him an animated series, they probably want to do more within that world.
oh yeah, for sure.
So it just tells us at this point in time where where do you okay? And I'm asking inside the chat. There's 120 of you guys here. I'm asking you this. I want your honest answer. If you were Zack Snyder right now, would you want to go back to DC or would you want to move forward? Because I think that is going to be the hardest question a lot of these fans are going to have to ask themselves. Because if they don't want to move forward with Zack going over to Netflix and doing things over there, at least for the time being, then I mean, doesn't that kind of like unfairly hold him back? You know, I mean, the whole thing, the whole time he's worked with Warner Brothers over these movies, 10 years, it's been like tragedy after tragedy after tragedy. You know, like Man of Steel came out, did pretty well. Well, Warner's then said, all right, let's do Batman v Superman. And Zack wanted to do a Man of Steel too. But David Goyer had the idea for BVS, I believe. And so they went with BVS. And then it was, okay, let's lead into Justice League. Because they rushed it to catch up to Marvel. And then unfortunately with Autumn, that whole thing, Zack left. They brought in Joss Whedon. We all know what happened. They wanted their bonus.
All right, the
Actually,
bonus.
it wasn't even really the bonus. It was tied to them not wanting to get fired before they got it.
Yeah, because that was when the AT&T talks were happening. It was around that time.
So,
That,
that's kind of the whole point. It's like a lot of people are saying here Netflix. A lot of people are saying Netflix, yeah, it is a very hard thing to do. I mean, still here says surely a sequel is coming to Army of the Dead. Yeah, I would assume so. Right. And I think it's going to tie into the alien situation, that whole thing. Because
plus, there's the whole King Arthur thing too.
Oh yeah, and there's also Ayn Rand's the Fountainhead. I mean, do you think Warner Brothers is going to want to do another King Arthur movie after the last one
No,
bombed because they can't
no.
market movies for crap?
Actually, that King Arthur movie with Charlie Hunnam wasn't actually that bad. It was
I
okay.
I own it, but I haven't watched it yet.
It's okay.
Christian Rosas here says Sony should get Zack. No, I disagree. Sony's got bad juju surrounding them. They're pretty bad.
I don't know. They got Andy Serkis working for him for Venom 2. I mean, they're trying to build up. They got Olivia Wilde working for them for the Spider Woman.
Yeah, well,
They're trying
Olivia
to build
Wilde's
some
only done
repertoire.
one feature film, and it was an indie. And Andy Serkis had directed only a couple movies, and one of them was that Jungle Book one that went to Netflix that got panned. It was the Mowgli movie, right?
Mm,
Mowgli, Mowgli or Mowgli? How do you pronounce that?
it's Mowgli.
Mowgli,
Mowgli.
right? You know, so you've got a lot of that going on. You've got like, he's done a couple things. He's better as an actor, I believe, than as a director, but I really do want to see how he's handling Venom 2. And I think
I
his
think it's interesting because he's a mocap. He's like the mocap genius. So him working on a movie that's predominantly mocapped characters, I think could be really special.
yeah, no, that should be interesting to see. All right, so let me take a look here. All right, so Jesus here says it's not Disney either. Yes, they would have more control, but also more restrictions for the kids. Yeah, I know. Zach doesn't like to work in that particular world. That's fine.
So you don't buy into the Ghost Rider rumor.
No, no, I don't buy. I don't buy into any rumor at this point. No, I don't buy into not one, not until I see it. And I'll tell you this though, because I don't want to, for one, give myself false hope. Two, I don't want to give anyone else false hope. Because as a commentator on this platform, I feel like if you listen to me, my job should be to tell you what I believe is the most objective version of the truth. That is what I feel my job should be. There are people out there that tell you what you want to hear, and they're all bigger channels than me. But I cannot, in that context, lie to you. I just can't do it. Because it's not right. Because if it doesn't happen, then you get, it's like like, I mean, it makes me cynical and pessimistic, but I mean, look at this, cancel HBO Max. They wanted to trend because they're mad at a retweet that for all intents and purposes might have just been accidental.
I don't think it was accidental. I just don't think they read the whole thing. That or they saw the backlash they were getting and said it's not worth it. Even though it was touting their numbers is very
That
good
could
for their
be
movies.
a situation too.
They probably looked at the backlash they were getting and said, hey, it's not worth it.
Let's see here. Sil says, if Feige calls Zack, though, game over. Yeah, I agree. Ash Eternal asks, should Warner Brothers keep Batman but sell DC to another studio like Sony with Spider-Man and Marvel? Well, there was like DC Films. No, they've got too much wrapped up in that right now. They've got too much wrapped up.
No, there's
in
too
the
much
DC world.
potential money for them.
So, Harry, Nick, here I'll show you the retweet. This is the tweet that went out, and you can see at the top there that what's inside HBO Max or inside HBO Max, whatever, retweeted it, and
that's their official PR account.
That is their official PR account. That's what people are mad about. So, and then they also took it though, and then they unretweeted it and they unliked it. So that was it. I mean, that was it. And then people are canceling their HBO Max over a retweet. How snowflakey do you have to be at that point in time? Like, if that's the straw that broke the camel's back, which is why I titled the stream this way, it's like, if that's the straw that broke the camel's back, then that is a weak ass straw. That's a weak ass straw, and that goes
straws made out of paper.
Well, Warner Brothers was never sell DC. Well, they might. There was that rumor that they might license out the comic book characters.
Yeah, Shudder, the comic division, license out the characters to other publishers so that they can, save money.
Yeah. Andrew here says, Jarbo, HBO Max betrayed us. No, Andrew, they didn't.
They
gave you what you wanted. They gave you exactly what you asked for. Right? That's what they gave you. So don't you think that, like, how can they betray you when they gave you what you asked for?
Truthfully, I'm just grateful we got what we got at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Like, we got something that was never, like, people thought never even existed. So.
Yeah, let's see. Our Danny's here says, spamming execs and making everyone who works for Warner Brothers out to be evil doesn't help. I haven't seen people make the employees out to be evil, but yeah. I mean, like,
I don't know. The ants aren't off. They do.
Oh yeah. Well, I think like I don't think the Hamada Burger thing is like as bad as some made it out to be. I thought it was pretty funny. Let's see. Nick here says here, no, they didn't at all. They gave us what we wanted. then we kept asking for more. We kind of are the problem. Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying that like in a fully kind of way, but it's like, again, there was the demand for more was always going to be there, and if the company isn't saying anything on it over a month into it, they've said nothing good or bad about the Snyder Cut. It kind of goes to show you that they've ghosted you on Tinder. Like they've just ghosted you at this point. Let's see here. $5 from Story to Screen Movie Review Podcast. Thank you, sir. Do I think that the press for The Witcher season, when Cavill is asked about Abrams' Superman as well as the Flash movie, when asked about Snyderverse, you know what? Yeah, they'll definitely ask those questions of Henry Cavill when they start.
And when they do, I'm very curious in his answers.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the thing is, though, Henry also understands that they don't want, to, like, he knows how to play the game, and he was kind of cagey about it even before the Snyder Cut was announced.
Yeah, and I think Cavill's moved on with his career anyway, so it's like,
if I had to guess, man, I would argue. Look, I want him back too. By the way, okay, I do. Like, I always have to keep reiterating that point because people always accuse me of being a hater. But like, no, I want it to continue. But I'm being realistic. I would argue that, like, Cavill probably does want to move on. I mean, he's kind of in the role of a lifetime for him. Playing Geralt of Rivia is something that, he probably wanted to do.
Biggest Netflix series ever, by the way.
Yeah. Well, and here's the thing. He was cast as Superman back in 2004.
Really? 2004?
Yes. Superman Flyby, the J.J. Abrams written, Mick G directed movie that was supposed to shoot in Australia, but it fell apart when Mick G refused to go to Australia to film the movie. And J.J. Abrams then tried to ask to direct the movie, and they said no, because J.J. Abrams was not a qualified filmmaker at that point in time. This was 3 years before Mission Impossible 3 came out, which is what put him on the map as a director. And so they canceled the project, and then they went and they started working on Superman Returns. So Cavill has also been attached to this project and had it fallen through his fingers now almost like twice. The second time around, he got one solo movie and then 2 ensemble films, but he still didn't end up, he still is being screwed with. And now he's over at Netflix working on a show that he absolutely adores the world of, and people love him in that role. Why? I mean, Henry doesn't strike me as the kind of guy who's all about the money. He wants to do what's fulfilling for him. And did you even hear the rumor? And again, this is the rumor that I heard. I'm putting no faith in it. That Paramount wants him back as of in the next couple Mission Impossibles.
Oh, I 100% believe that because he was so well received in that movie.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. People are maybe.
I could see it happening. I mean, those Mission Impossible movies are going to be legit, and I cannot wait for those. On a side note, but no, I mean, even Cavill's been teasing he's working on a Mass Effect project. So,
well, no, it was one image on Instagram, but that was pretty funny. I liked, if he is working on a Mass Effect project, that'd be dope. Is he going to play Commander Shepard?
maybe
that'd be pretty cool. But Aaron Entertainment here says Michael B. Jordan confirmed he was never in talks to play Superman. Yeah, I mean, that's what he says. At this point, celebrities, everyone, they all kind of lie to you, so like, you just got to be careful on that one. Let's see here. K Salsa says Warner Brothers is toxic. The way they treated Ray Fisher proves it. Why feel pity for rich execs? Well, yeah, mostly that was the old guard, but the new guard is still kind of protecting the old guard because that's how the business works. Joshua here says comparing Wonder Woman 84 and Justice League, the Snyder Cut, seems like an unfair comparison, mainly because theater and streaming are 2 different formulas. Would you compare apples to carrots? No, you have a point.
You have a point. True, but Wonder Woman did most of its business on streaming, though.
Did it? Because
And what?
it crossed over 100 million on its opening weekend world internationally.
Yeah, but it wasn't as big of a hit as like Godzilla versus Kong, though.
Well, no,
Like,
because I'll let me get political for a moment, but that was also under the Trump administration. That was before the Biden administration took over. When Trump left office, we'd only had 400,000 vaccinations. 100 days later, we're at over 200 million vaccinations. And during the hardcore push for vaccinations, more people are taking them. Theaters are starting to reopen. Godzilla versus Kong, Mortal Kombat went out. I mean, shit, dude. Even Demon Slayer did 22 million.
yeah,
With like
I'm seeing it this weekend after I get vaccinated, so I'm pretty excited.
Yeah. Let's see. Brandon Caterpillar here with the $2 super sticker. Thank you very much, Brandon. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Geek Studios says he's bailing. Hey, dude, thanks for coming by. Have yourself a good night.
I feel like we should address the chat real quick. Like, do you think Snyder fans are toxic? Like, do you agree with like the answer enough stuff?
Oh God, no.
Okay, because like the chat's having like this big debate about toxicity and stuff.
No. Let me be real. You guys are passionate, but there is a very, very, very fine, defined line between passionate and toxic. All right. The cancel HBO Max thing is blurring it quite a bit, by the way. That's like the only thing I've seen so far that really blurs it. And a lot of that is just because there's so much passionate play. I don't think the fandom is toxic at all. You don't actively and consistently raise nearly $1 million for suicide prevention and be toxic. Now I know that came up the other night with Enosh and Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers. Like, oh, well, the Fandom Menace raises money as well. Or Geeks and Gamers raises money. Does that mean that, that they're toxic? The difference though is that they don't hide behind those numbers. Like the Snyder Cut fandom doesn't hide behind those numbers. They don't. They walk with those numbers. They continuously try to raise more money. They continuously put on events to raise more money, but they don't hide behind those numbers. If you criticize, let's say, Uche from Geeks and Gamers, right? And you say something like, well, hey, like, your fandom's kind of shit. He'll go, well, we raised $103,000 for charity. I'm like, well, what the fuck does that have to do with the price of tea in China?
Right. Well, on the side, I don't like when charity is ever used as deflection from criticism.
Oh, and that's the big problem, right? Like the Snyder Cut fandom has never, as far as I have seen, used the charity as a way to deflect from criticism. There are more passionate people than others, yeah, and there are people who do take it too far sometimes. But on a whole, that's never the idea. The idea behind the Snyder Cut fandom was built around getting the Snyder Cut out, seeing Zack's vision come to light. The whole idea behind the Fandom Menace is F woke culture, screw SJWs, negative. That's what they argue all the time. That's it.
Yeah. And real quick, I just wanted to say, Gary B, you don't really know for sure if Ray Fisher hasn't talked to Zack. I mean, Zack could totally put him in a movie. I don't think he's a fool for siding with Snyder. I don't think Snyder used him as a tool.
Let's see here. Let me bring it up because I just saw it. Ray Fisher, according to Gary B, was a fool. He sided with Snyder, who used him as a tool, and then he threw him away. Why don't Ray go ask Snyder to put him in a zombie film? Well, we don't know if he ever did. We don't know if those conversations ever happened. Ray may have been doing something else at the time.
I mean, he's filming a show for ABC.
Yeah, and it's possible that the budget that they had, really only they could get, the bigger star was Dave Bautista, and that was most of their budget. Because practically everybody else is like, not even like C tier. Do you know anyone else from anything outside of Tig Notaro, who was a last minute addition because Chris D'Elia got?
I know who Hiro Yuki Sanada is, but that's it.
Yeah, it's like there's not a lot of stuff there. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hold on here, real quick. Jesus here or Jesus here says, "Can we make it longer?" Yeah, that to me was pretty funny. When he said that in that little Netflix promo. I don't know what that meant. But I want to know I do want to know what that meant. All right, hold on. We got Saggy Melons. What's going on, Saggy?
I'm here for my grift.
Oh, good. Hold on 1 second on that one. I got a grift. My God Ruler, $2 super chat. Thank you, sir. Says HBO Max could do Justice League 2 and 3 animated like Marvel What If. And I think that is probably the best course of
I've
action.
said a million times that's what they need to do. I know some fans are like, no, I only wanted live action, but I think at this point you need to take what you can get.
Look, have you guys all seen The Dark Knight Returns?
Mm-hmm.
Right? The animated movie? That movie is
Mm-hmm.
the shit. Right? That movie is amazing. DC animated movies are so good.
They are. I don't like Marvel animated movies at all.
Because they don't. Well, when is Marvel? Like Marvel hasn't put out any kind of animated stuff.
The best Marvel animated movie was the Doctor Strange one they did.
And that was
okay.
And that was old. That was through Lionsgate.
Yeah,
right.
It was.
So hold on, Brandon Peralta here, $5. Thank you, Brandon. Says, I just feel that we've heightened expectations and live in a belief fantasy that Warner Brothers would restore the Snyderverse instead of being realistic. And yeah, I've been saying this for a while, where the stuff Zack has said publicly, and the stuff that Zack has kind of done privately in regards to on Vero with that keep watching, which is, as much as I love Enosh and it's possible if he's listening, he's brought that up multiple times, but that was also from like the first weekend of the movie coming out. It wasn't like a couple days ago. It's an old saying, and Zack probably was waiting to see what the internal numbers were, because I guarantee you that he knows them. And if they were as big as a lot of people in the fandom believe that they are, don't you think that Zack would be a little bit more like pushing for it a bit?
Or even say something about it?
I mean, like, I'm not on Vero, so I don't know if he said anything on Vero or not.
The hell?
So I don't know, but maybe Vero? I do. Huh?
So what the hell is Vero?
Vero is a social media network, social media app that Zack Snyder pretty much popularized.
Oh.
It's like for mostly sharing photos, isn't it?
I don't know. Never used it.
I've never used it either.
I didn't know what the hell it was.
He would leak stuff from Vero, and then that got put onto Twitter. Let's see here. Okay. I'm looking at Zack's Vero post right now. When did he post this one? On April 22nd, so 5 days ago, was linking to the auction for some of the Batman portraits. And then his other one was from April 17th. Again, a big win a pair of tickets to the IMAX screening of Justice is Gray whenever that happens. And so he's been promoting it a bit, but most of the stuff recently has been more Army of the Dead stuff.
Yeah, because that's the new thing that's coming out.
Well, Zack, I'm curious as to what you think, because like you recently just watched the movie, so I'm curious what you thought of like the whole thing that got retweeted, and what do you think right now?
The numbers?
Yeah, like the tweet that got retweeted by HBO Max and people wanting to cancel.
I mean, I'm listening. I'm listening to everybody's like take on both sides, right? And it's like I can't even really say. I mean, I like the movie. I thought it was well perceived. I think that crashing the servers on the launch day of it, was a thing. And from what I see, it just seems weird that the numbers, like they're saying it wasn't that big of a deal, because it's like literally, this movement's a big deal when I'm at work, right? And a dude comes in, I tweeted it out. A guy legit came into my store, bought his items, and I literally looked at him and he had Restore the Snyderverse hoodie on, and I'm like, holy crap, this is not like just a, like, you know what I mean? The town I live in isn't even that huge. So the fact that I just saw someone, and he's from Brazil, he's Brazilian and everything, so it's like really weird that this is what they're saying is it wasn't a big deal. I'm like, dude, I literally ran into someone, never met him before, first time I've ever seen him in my store, and he's wearing a Restore the Snyderverse shirt, and he was talking to me about it and how much he loved it and how he really wants the Snyderverse and that he follows Zack and all of his films. And I'm sitting here like, how is this possible that this wasn't a big freaking deal?
Well, because sometimes it can. Okay, here's a good way to describe it. You ever seen a dead body?
Yes, unfortunately, a couple. Okay.
I know, weird way to kind of segue into that.
Thanks.
But you watch movies, right? You watch movies, and like a dude gets shot up or mutilated or whatever, and there's blood and everywhere, and then you're like, oh my god, that's terrible, like holy crap. And then like they show him in the autopsy and it's like one slash, but they stitched it up so you can still see like that it's there, but it's not as gruesome as it once was. That's kind of the same thing here.
That was really detailed, and the dead body analogy. You could have done any other one, but we're just going with the dead bodies. Do we gotta have an intermission?
Well, I'm just saying, right? Min's all like, here comes one of Matt's analogies.
Dude, right? Thank you, because I'm glad I wasn't the only one that peeped that. Holy crap! Have you ever seen a dead body? I didn't know where this was going.
Have you ever seen a dead body? I'm just saying, like sometimes it sounds and looks worse than it is, right? Or it sounds louder than it is. Like when it's like the vocal majority of the Snyder Cut fans are very vocal, but they're not as many as you might think.
I don't know, dude. It just, like I said, you this whole thing, right? When I first got introduced to this movement thing, because remember, guys, I don't know how many times I said I wasn't into DC movies or films, and I have seen Zack's stuff in the past, but I when I watch movies, I don't care about the directors like everybody else does, and you know what I mean? So when I came into this, I'm a noob, right? And I seen so many people. That's how I met all of these people here. That's how I met a lot of you guys in the chat, is from this whole thing. And you see all these big YouTubers that this isn't even their content. They're talking about it. Hell, Philip DeFranco, I've been watching that dude since he started back in the day. His channel's freaking huge. He even talked about it when the movie came out. So when all of these people from all corners of the internet are talking about this, it absolutely baffles me that they're saying, well, this wasn't a big deal. Philip DeFranco, he doesn't even talk about these things, and he even was talking about how much he was looking forward to this the cut, and how he watched it and he loved it and he recommended it. Couple million subscribers, right? So how is this not a bigger thing?
Well, because I mean, for one, we know that it's reached millions of people, right?
Right.
So there's that. But not everyone had HBO Max, right? I mean, it only just got on Roku at the end of last year.
Thank you, Joe.
And so they did a lot of stuff there. And no, Joshua, that's not, no, Saggy is not Mecha Random 42.
She's a million times better than
what the heck is Mecha Random 42?
She is a million times better than that.
What is that?
See, it's a red-haired harpy.
JR says here, CNN even mentioned it.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, it's like so many people from all corners have talked about this huge thing and the movement and everything, and it's like, I can't believe that that's the actual number. And it's like, how you have, like I said, YouTubers with millions of subscribers who every day, this is not their topic. They don't talk about these things. It's literally just like, as soon as this happened, now they're talking about it, now they're excited about it. And like, I get what you're saying, Jarbo, but that a lot of people don't have HBO Max. Maybe the pandemic and money has to do with it. But like, to say that it wasn't a big deal, like, numbers aside, it was a big freaking deal.
No, it's a huge deal. But that doesn't guarantee that it's going to automatically guarantee a sequel or a continuation. But it does show that in these situations, these studios can go back to what they've already done, and they can, they probably be better off doing investing the money into remastering a lot of these older movies, and going in and like, doing the director's cut, asking these directors, hey, do you want to come back and add anything to this movie? Like, think about it today. For example, we know that there was like a 5-hour cut of Godzilla versus Kong when Adam Wingard wrapped production, and they scaled it down to under 2 hours, and they cut out a whole bunch of things and a whole bunch of actors, especially actors that carried over from Godzilla King of the Monsters. And then people see the movie and they go, well, the story like really was kind of dumb. It didn't make a lot of sense.
Right.
And then, but it did well at $400 million worldwide. And now today it's like, oh, well, they're talking about doing Song of Kong. That's the rumor.
Or they haven't decided on a particular movie yet, but they're like, hey, Adam Wingard, please make more. We want to continue this because it's making money again.
It's just kind of, this whole situation is just weird because I love the excuses that have been given for why they don't want to pursue it. It's like, oh well, the fandom's toxic, sweetheart. The fandom, all fandoms are toxic even before this. You find toxicity anywhere you go. That's neither here or there. That's just a cop out
Right.
excuse.
If
So
that
it's
was the excuse given to Star Wars, we would never get a new
right,
movie or
like
show
literally,
ever.
if toxicity in these fandoms was an issue why you don't want to pursue continuing making a project, then you wouldn't be making projects anymore because there's been toxicity even before the internet. You know, hello, does anyone remember that if it's how old Star Wars is and how toxic that fan base was without social media? You go to the Star Wars conventions and you have people literally fighting over it, physically. Like, you know, it's literally like toxicity and fandoms will always exist. You can't use that as an excuse why you don't want to make it, because again, if that was an excuse, we wouldn't have entertainment anymore at all. They wouldn't be
Right.
afraid to. So if they
And to
were
go
really that
off the
afraid, nope.
Yeah. And to go off of that and like the Godzilla versus Kong thing, like go Mortal Kombat. Mortal Kombat, like the actors are touting the numbers, they're super excited, they're talking about sequels immediately. It's like the conversation post release is completely different to that than what you saw for Justice League. Like after
Right.
Justice
And
League, it was nothing but like, oh, it's not continuing. It's big and starting off expose and like fighting. Everything else is all celebratory, and them saying,
and
hey,
right.
we're gonna show our support and make
Right.
sequels.
And with Mortal Kombat, there's a big divide on how that did, right? Because there are a lot of people who there were people who liked it and a lot of people who didn't like it. You had somebody in here commented about it that it's big in Brazil, but you know the 95 one was beloved and stuff. But that's what I'm saying. You have a divide, and they're already planning on franchising this. So again, I don't see the problem with, you know, if there's enough people who really want to see this, that's easy money. It
But see,
is.
but here's the thing, though. How many people is enough?
Clearly not. I don't know. Maybe a imaginary number because
Well, like I've said, and I stand by this. In order to justify the expense, to really justify the expense, HBO Max has to have at least 100 million monthly active users to cover the cost, or they have to do something with theaters.
right. But HBO Max isn't the only. HBO has been a thing before they went Max. Okay, so
Well, yeah,
they
yeah, I
have
know.
money. They
But they
have the
also,
money.
well,
It's not. I don't think it's an issue of money. You know, AT&T
no,
is
it's
one of the most profitable
absolutely an issue of
companies in the
money.
world.
It's absolutely an issue of money. It's more money than
Mm-hmm.
it's more money than it is anything else, right?
I agree with
Then
Jarbo
why
with
not
that.
why not make a very cheap
Well,
sequel or
no,
just the Nightmare Verse
no, RJ, I
or
agree
two
with
animated
Jarbo.
movies that are
You
cheaper?
No,
well, because the actors want to take a cut.
right. And I agree with Jarbo because look at Netflix. How many original series that they've had out that they've had to shut down because they didn't have the budget to continue, like Altered Carbon. That was a great show. And you know why they stopped making that? The last one was the last one. They're not doing it anymore. And that's because the budget to make the movie or to make that show didn't add up to how much views they were getting back in return. So they just decided to cut it. So I get what Jarbo's saying, you know, money, but it's like,
Well, I mean,
it's not
look at Nick here. He's like, Justice League is probably one of the most expensive movies ever made, which is true. It's about the
When you
$400
add
million mark.
when you
But
add
there's a
all like the
reason why.
reshoots and the
The
marketing,
reshoots, you know, and then of course the finishing of it and everything else. Um, but it still, I think, would need to. I look here. I'll be honest with you guys. Warner Brothers needs to pull their head out their ass, work a deal with IMAX, put the BVS put Justice League in IMAX because Regal cinemas are getting ready to reopen,
Mhm.
and there's a lot of IMAX and Regals, and they're going to need content. And you know what? I mean, I know Fast and Furious 9 is coming out here pretty soon, and that's going to be big in IMAX. Godzilla
Yep.
vs Kong did pretty well in IMAX.
Yep.
Now is the time to like find a 2-week schedule and put the movie out there, because I'm sure at this point you could probably get a pretty good deal on it. You know, I mean, and then that could maybe sell some more copies when the movie comes out in a couple weeks on home video.
Right. I mean, they have options of making this a thing if they wanted to continue through this way. They have means to make the funds to do it. Like, yeah, it is about the money, but they have the means to get that money. Like, if fans are saying, "Take our money, we want this," I would have been like, if they're willing to put up the money, if they want to see it in theaters and they're gonna buy those tickets, then we should just do it. And at the same time, it's like putting it out in the theaters is a good way to test those waters because if they put it out in theaters, they get an actual like physical like analytics of what they're working with here. So they see the ticket sales. If people got the tickets, they calculate that. And then see, I could see if they said no after they took these steps. But the fact that they're not even entertaining taking these steps to even see is what's like bothering me with this. It's like you're not even taking the steps to find out if it's worth making.
Yeah, well, here's my question. Like, okay, because Kay Sasa here says China loves Zack Snyder's Justice League, so why not release it there? I mean, it is possible. It is possible that Darkseid could be considered a violation, of their spiritual guidelines.
Yeah, I was gonna say China has very strict things that they would have to change for it to release there.
Yeah, like I'll give you guys an example. In Alien Covenant, they cut out like 90% of the xenomorph.
Mm-hmm.
It's like so. It's so stupid how China operate. But I mean, no. But otherwise, yeah, they should find a way to release it wherever they can release it. And I think people.
I'm just saying, an animated movie, like I think animation may be like a cheaper form of that. I think the actors would be game for that because it's just voice acting. It's not very difficult to get the actors. Like they can do it off their phone, for God's sakes.
I mean.
I just think there's ways to continue it that's a lot cheaper, and it wouldn't be an issue with money.
I mean, that's true too. Doing it animated, but I mean, it's kind of at the end of the day like what Zack wants to do with what his vision is. If he wants to go that route, or if he wants to do it live action, I think that would also be like a conversation that Zack would need to have what he wants to do with this. I mean, I don't know if it was possible. Like, could he even do it by himself, or would he be able to talk to them? Be like, can I just do this on my own? No, that's the other issue is that he wouldn't be able to do this without Warner Brothers giving that green light.
Well, yeah, well, he wouldn't. What I did say about this the other day was that it might be in his best interest to offer to come in as a co-producing company and bring in some of the financing, because Warner Brothers is a distributor and they're also a studio, but like look at like Legendary Pictures, for example. Legendary put up most of the money for Godzilla versus Kong, and Warner's was going to distribute it, and Warner's didn't tell Legendary that they were going to be putting it on HBO Max the same day as theaters, and so that was a big upset. But it was an upset that ultimately paid off. But I think Zack may have to sit there and go, look, we want to make these movies. We'll if we can maybe keep the budget down to like 150 million, we'll try to do, raise 75 million through private investors. And then you guys match the other half of that. And we go and make it work. But really a lot of what it boils down to is it really does boil down to the timing and the contracts.
I had a question for you, Matt.
Yeah.
Do you think that if it wasn't for COVID and the theaters closing, do you think the outcome maybe would have been different as far as the decision with this whole thing? Do you think it would have changed anything?
I think that if it wasn't for the pandemic, we would probably, well, I don't want to say that we wouldn't get Zack Snyder's Justice League, because they were clearly already talking about it at the end of 2019. So there's that. But I think that they would have been more forthcoming at this point if there wouldn't have been a pandemic, because Wonder Woman would have gone to theaters, right? The Suicide Squad would be on its way going to theaters. And Zack Snyder's Justice League would have a good excuse to keep it on HBO Max, and to just have it kind of end its run. That's kind of what I think here. But real quick, I saw. Hold on.
You saw a thing.
No. There's a comment here. Sammy asked here, when does Zack Snyder Justice League become available for purchase? According to May 24th, according to Amazon.
Ooh.
So that's
getting a physical Blu-ray release, isn't it?
It is getting a physical Blu-ray release. I just got BVS Ultimate remastered on whatever it's called on 4K. So let me see. Let me double check here because I was on Amazon UK. Let me bring it up. There we go. Zack Snyder's Justice League. Interesting. I cannot on Amazon.co.uk. I can pre-order it, but I can't pre-order it yet on the American site. That's weird. That's very weird. Oh wow, I didn't realize that Sean O'Connell was selling his book for $20.
Oh snap! I gotta run. I have an important call I just gotta take.
Sure.
Yeah, but no, thanks for having me on for a bit to shoot the crap. I love all y'all, and you guys enjoy the rest of your stream. I'll talk to you later.
All right, see you later.
See you later.
Bye.
So yeah, I think it's going to be May 24th is when it comes on in. But so I'm just looking at the chat here. Remember that Warner Brothers blames Zack Snyder's Justice League for canceling New Gods. So I don't think the issue is money, but Warner Brothers not wanting to give control of the IP to Zack Snyder. Warner Brothers is afraid of audience liking Zack Snyder's take better. Well, I mean, yeah, I see what you're saying there, but I still think it's like, I still think that that's the thing with that comment about Darkseid. It came out of nowhere for me, right? It really came out of nowhere. I couldn't really figure out like what the purpose of that comment was because it felt so cop out, like, where it just felt like they're going like, well, we need an excuse, and no, Darkseid, but wouldn't he have been? Would now I don't know because I'm not a big DC comic aficionado or nothing, but wouldn't Darkseid have been Uxas in the New Gods, or would he have been Darkseid?
It depends on if it's a prequel or a sequel.
Yeah,
if it's a prequel, he would be Uxas, I believe. So it depends on what direction they were going with. From what I understand,
hold on, did Mad Max pop in? Oh, here we go. Just when I was getting ready to kind of wind it down, Max.
What the hell's going on now?
You missed it, Max.
Just because there's an article came out. That's it.
No, it's not an article. HBO Max retweeted an account. They retweeted the numbers. It's over, Max. It's dead.
They retweeted. No. They retweeted a thing that said the top 3, and at the end, the person throws a little bit of shade. Oh wow. So the person does. That doesn't mean I just don't care anymore. I really don't. I really don't care. I mean, I do care, but this is silly. I see everyone on Twitter canceling.
Brian's saying.
Well, I know what Brian's been saying. Brian's been saying stuff just like Jarbo for a while now. They retweeted someone that said the top 3, and at the end he said, "Sorry, Snyder Bros." I saw that, but I don't think it's something to freak out about.
Well, even the article I showed Matt. The article said, talk about the numbers and stuff. It said, "Sorry to the fans who campaigned for 4 years for the Snyder Cut." Even the article threw that in there, saying it didn't even make the top 3.
It
would have been number 4.
Probably, yeah, but
or maybe
it got beat out by all those movies.
Maybe Tom and Jerry beat it out. We have no idea.
If Tom and Jerry beat the Snyder Cut, I'm gonna laugh so hard. There's no.
Well, I see lots of people on Twitter retweeting their cancellations.
A ton of people. I've seen a ton, like my whole timeline of people posting their cancellations.
We'll see, because when people on the Fandom Menace freak out, they think they're gonna have a big impact. We'll see if the numbers go down. If they do, if it's significant that it goes down after this, and it was going forward before that, then it can be a factor. But I don't foresee enough people that that it's going to affect anything, really. Oh, well. I was taking a break from YouTube today. I finally got some rest. I was having trouble sleeping lately.
It's because you're up all night talking about the Snyder Cut, Max.
No, I'm not even. I wasn't even. I just came on the Twitter just to check a few things and just see how everyone's doing. So I don't.
We need Mad Max here, man. It's just
I'm not mad at all. I'm gaming. I've been focusing on trying to get my PlayStation collection together, my Vita collection. I do want it to continue. I'm not going to freak out about anything though. So, I mean, it wasn't great, that comment, but I don't think it's just whatever. I don't think it means as much as everyone thinks. I don't think it's not good. It's not good. No.
That's the whole notion of it, right? And that's why I call this thing, the straw that broke the Snyder Cut's fandom's back, right? Like this little thing, this retweet, which is again inconsequential because they unretweeted it. Then that's what's triggering people.
Well, you know what? Just wait till Army of the Dead comes out. That's all I'm saying. That is a huge factor.
We brought that up earlier. Yeah.
Okay. I mean that makes him extremely relevant, and then if they're not going to bite, then he'll leave. That's it.
I have a feeling that he's already worked a deal with.
Well, he's got all kinds of deals on the table. Seriously, if what the thing is, Warner. You take the baggage away from the Snyder Cut, and that's not on Zack's fault. Okay, any rational company would be talking to him. He's gonna take the better deal. It's probably just gonna be Netflix. But they're to say that they're not talking to him at all, that's crazy. They might not want to work with him again still, even though he's very sought after. In the Army of the Dead is a big factor.
How do you know they're talking to him? How do you know that Warner Brothers?
Because
you keep saying that. But
because
the argument's also
entertainment industry is the problem is too much talk and no action. There's always things going on
behind the scenes.
It just might not be. They might not be aggressively going towards Zack, but they're talking about it, and then it just might not be. The Snyder Cut just probably didn't do enough that they're going to move forward. I don't know. I still think there's a path forward. And a lot of it is because Zack just wasn't sitting there waiting on one thing. He was actively developing other projects. Army of the Dead is a huge factor. It's a big thing. And when it lands, and I'm keep saying it's going to be #1 Netflix original ever. I really believe it. I could be wrong. I'll come on your show in a minute if I'm wrong. That's going to be a big thing.
I actually agree with Rhea. Rhea brings up a good point.
There you go. Ray says, I'm sorry, but I don't like to look at the success of Army in relation to the Snyderverse's future. If anything, Army is another Snyderverse of films and content we will more likely get at this point. Yeah. Which I agree with.
It makes him more relevant, and that's the biggest ticket to get anything done in Hollywood.
Well, Max, let me ask you this. I have a question for you, because Jarbo disagrees with me. Do you think that, at this point, that Snyder fans would accept any kind of numbers, even if they were bad numbers? That people just want transparency. They just want numbers.
There's always going to be someone that's going to spin it the other way too, just like they spin it. It's all around spin. Like,
because my point is, I think at this point, fans just want numbers. They don't care if they're bad or good. They just want transparency to know how well it did.
It's very good for a story that was told in a different way years ago. If this was fresh and we didn't get Justice League at all, it would have blown it out the fucking water. But there was a movie that's similar, it's not the same, that came out years ago. So if it was a fresh movie, it would have done amazing. But there's baggage and there's a story that's very similar that I honestly don't think that everyone started watching and knows that it's going to end in a different way. They're like, I remember some of this. Click off, the normies. So,
although I find that to be kind of interesting because the movie from the get-go is entirely different.
Right.
The opening about normies. Is not even,
Yeah.
Well, if normies, they might remember bits of it. Yeah. So I don't quite know.
I just keep coming back to, and I was listening to Mikey Sutton the other day. The one thing is they need content. And they need someone to say, or they need some big event, and Darkseid coming back is just huge. The New Gods being canceled is something else that you need to bring. Oh shit, Callie! She just crashed my green.
What the hell happened?
She just crashed my green screen over.
Well, good thing you're not on camera.
Yeah.
Now you know why I'm not on camera. I'm also in bed. That's the other reason.
So I don't remember what I was saying. Oh, Mikey said one thing is they need content. They need a big event, and saying Darkseid's coming back to HBO Max and it's going to be a fresh thing. That's going to get the views are going. The views can only go up from here from Justice League Snyder Cut because then it'll be all new. That's the other thing, but they might not even consider that because they're so jaded against Snyder. But if they were making something new, bouncing off the Snyder and just on HBO Max, and you have all that Darkseid Returns ads, I just can't get past that. I keep thinking about that. That's an amazing opportunity to have Darkseid return to my service. One of the best villains ever. Villains are what make entertainment bank. Every time there's a great comic book movie, the majority of the time it's because of the great villain in the property, in that project. And I feel he's on getting to the level of Darth Vader with Darkseid. I think if you give him another film, it's only going to get better. Get Ray Porter back. Have him go the old ways and come back. I just can't get past it. Just my mind, I can't get past it. I'm like, I can't. It's like a slam dunk to me. I can't get past seeing Darkseid come back, and I can't imagine a world where you don't get to see this version of Darkseid come back again. I just can't. But it could happen. Yeah, it could happen. But we won't get to see him again. I just can't get past that. So.
Sorry, H Barts with a $20 super chat. Thank you, H Barts. Says, hey Matt, I'm at work, so here's a super chat for you, my friend. Find Dewey of Uganda Knuckles. Is this Dewey? I know Dewey. Is this Dewey? Do you know that joke? You guys ever seen that joke?
Yeah,
yes,
you told me.
Yes.
Yeah, Uganda Knuckles.
I've seen the memes.
Hey,
that was back in 2016.
Does someone really want to help us out? We are one away from 100 subscribers on the PlayStation Plus podcast. You could be our 100th subscriber. I know this is movie
now.
No,
man.
I know this is movie talk, but come on, isn't that cool to make someone 100? Probably no one's going to do it because this is movie talk.
Well, hold on, I'll post it in there for you.
Or maybe Matt Jarbo could actually sub.
I don't know if I am subbed or not.
I know you're not. I checked. Well, I mean, unless you have you might not have your subs public.
I don't have my subs public. I think that's
right.
ridiculous. In many ways, we both. There we go. Resident Justice put that up there. Check out Max's PlayStation Plus podcast. It's PlayStation Plus, mostly like Amico. If you want to know about
an Amico drama,
we're still at 99. See, I put the pressure on Matt, and he still didn't sub. Oh.
Max, if you're going to show your channel, I'll show mine. I'll post mine as well.
Yeah, that's fine. Check these guys out. Andrew Casali is kind of
he's lost his mind.
He's going crazy in the chat. I've been reading his comments. He's going nuts.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Bronzespeak says
DSP
will out cockroach Jarbo, but Jarbo's getting there. Oh, please.
You know what would be worse than canceling your subscription? I mean, canceling your subscription, that's your right. You know what would be worse? Being like Snyder Bros and doing a full Karen on the Twitter and on internet, tagging all the HBO reps, and that's what's worse than canceling. Don't become a Karen.
Don't become a Karen. That should be we should make that a thing. Make that a slogan. And McLeod here with $10 Canadian. Thank you so much, sir. Saying it sucks that non-toxic section of the Snyder Cut fan base has been thrown into the same bowl as a fandom menace part of the Snyder Cut fandom.
We all know what the problem is, but the people consider my stuff toxic just because I do silly thumbnails, but they're light memes. Like everyone's so offended by mine, but I don't put in the same category. But I don't care anymore. I'm taking a break from YouTube. I don't even know why I came on today. I wanted to talk to Matt and RJ.
Oh, that's important, man. We need your.
No, I like. Look, the thing is, I do like having other points of view.
Whoa, we made 100. Whoa.
What?
We're at 100 subscribers on PlayStation
okay.
Plus.
There you go, guys. Thank you very much for helping Max out. They can now finally make their name.
Now we're getting monetized.
No, at 1,000 subscribers, you get monetized.
Oh shit. No, I knew that. I'm just joking. But
the thing is that to kind of go back to what McLeod here is saying.
I like Ryan's comment. That's perfect.
Is
don't go full DC
DC Anon, yeah. But there is a very large look. The thing is, the Snyder Cut fandom and the Fandom Menace are like, they're so diametrically opposed to one another, right? And they really are. They really are. No matter how much people from the Fandom Menace are going to try to gaslight people in the Snyder Cut fandom as being like, oh, no, we're totally on the same page, you guys. We're totally on the same page. We just want good storytelling. And then Snyder Cut fandom will be like, yeah, but we want to see like Patty Jenkins direct another Wonder Woman movie. Like, whoa, man, whoa. We don't want the woke stuff, man. Like, that's the thing. They hate diversity and inclusion in the Fandom Menace. They really do. They hide behind it like it's a token. With the people that work with them.
Well, they're acting like it's the biggest problem. That's not the biggest problem. Writing, planning, and quality of the product is in characters and all that is the problem.
And I really do think that that it's not fair to lump the two of them together, because that while the Snyder Cut fans might be vocal and everything else, they're generally positive. This is the worst I think I've seen them on a larger scale, like actively canceling HBO Max subscriptions.
I'm not canceling until there's nothing to watch. If it becomes like dry and there's like, then it doesn't. I mean, there's so much on HBO Max to watch. I watched Bill Maher. I just watched MK. Oh no, is Kong versus Godzilla gone yet? I should probably watch.
It's still there. It's still there.
I think it's leaving this Friday.
Okay, I should watch that one more time before it leaves. Snyder Cut's still on there. I am upset about the Warner Brothers saying that they better release this physical before they stop making physical stuff.
The Snyder Cut?
Yes.
May 24th.
Oh, okay. Thank God.
We were talking about that earlier. Yeah.
Is there a steelbook yet?
You're gonna I don't know. You're gonna have to wait to see if Best Buy gets a copy of it.
Well, I'm getting a regular copy first too, just in case, and then I'll look for a steelbook.
Matt, have you seen Mortal Kombat yet?
I have not, actually.
You should. It's not that long of a movie.
No, I'm gonna probably watch it tonight. Like right now, like I am on my meds, so like I'm in bed.
Did
so
you check out Invincible, by the way?
No. I couldn't get. No, I tried. I forgot my Amazon login, and I was like way too lazy to go and look for it.
Well, this Friday is the season finale.
I know. I gotta watch it. But I finished watching that Sasquatch documentary on Hulu instead, and that was really good. So, because that was all true crime, and I like true crime quite a bit. So, Case also says that it sucked for Mortal Kombat. I don't know. I mean, like, look, I like the first Mortal Kombat. Like unironically, like the first Mortal Kombat.
I ironically like it, but it's a bad movie. It's not aged well.
A lot. You were like, I don't know, man. You didn't experience that in the theaters.
I know.
Kelly, what are you doing? Oh. My dog scares me.
Oh, she's tearing down your green screen?
She's doing other stuff, and then she makes all her Nyla bones look like shivs. They're like all very pointed. Like she's
learning how to make
chisels off the sides, and it's just like a big point. It looks like prison weapons.
Oh, jeez. Oh my God. Okay. Anyway, guys, I'm gonna wind this thing down here in a couple minutes because my phone is almost dead and I need to go charge it. Let's see here. What's my take on The Rock? Shut up. Everyone wants to know about The Rock.
The what?
No, I made a joke a while back about how I think that The Rock is not a movie star.
Oh, yeah.
People get real mad at me when I say that too.
The Rock brings it.
He does bring it, yeah, totally. Ray here says, I ironically like Annihilation, but I'm seriously underwhelmed by Mortal Kombat. That's probably worse than enjoying something for how cheesy terrible it is. Now, you're talking about underwhelmed by the new Mortal Kombat or the original Mortal Kombat?
Yeah, I mean, like I said before, but I went into it expecting it to be horrible, but I really like the new one.
Okay, so there's really great things in it. It's a mixed bag. I don't think any Mortal Kombat movie or series has really nailed it yet, but there's great things in all. And then the villain, like the big bads like Shang Tsung and stuff, are let down.
Okay. Well, it's
Yeah,
hard
Reyes
to
said
beat the
underwhelmed
first
by the
half.
new one. By the new one.
But there's amazing fight scenes. And
No, Annihilation
Kano,
was not great. Annihilation sucked, Zito. What are you talking about?
and
Annihilation's one
Kano
of the
was
worst movies ever
Kano
made.
was legit.
Oh yeah, Kano in the new movie was good. I liked Kano.
He fit the tone, like cheesy, gory movie. You know,
Yeah, there we go, guys. I know there's like 100 of you guys in here still. If you guys want to help me out, go check out Patio Commentary. There's a link right there in the chat. That's my shilling for the evening. But I don't know. Maybe I'll watch Mortal Kombat tonight. It's short, right?
mm-hmm.
Yeah, because like my back is healing, which is good. It's just not 100% there yet.
Think in like another week or two it'll be back to normal or what?
I'm hoping, man. I'm really hoping because I'd like to be able to like. It's really like the back is healing, but I still have a bruised rib, and so that makes everything really difficult.
Yeah, I imagine.
So it's like I have to have the muscle relaxer mostly for the bruised rib at this point. So, yay on that one. Zeno here says, hold on. Mortal Kombat is supposed to be cheesy. Yeah. Brian here
Yeah,
says,
but
Annihilation.
Annihilation's not cheesy though. It's just bad.
It's just the game, like Mortal Kombat 11. Maybe my expectations were higher because of that, because the characters became more realistic. Like they could just like walk into a movie, even the outfits, and then they went a different way. It's not like, I think the production in the game is better than the production in the movie. The production in the movie is more like a B movie, C movie even.
Yeah.
But it was also cheaply made.
Yeah. Speaking of DC animated movies, I just realized apparently Justice Society World War II came out today.
I know that it ended up on parts of the internet today.
Okay, maybe that's what happened. I'm very excited for it. The reviews have been amazing for it.
Yeah, someone I know was just like hits me up like, oh hey, Justice Society World War II dropped. I'm like, oh, it came out, and they're like, yeah, you can go and find it, can't you? I'm like, shut up, you know. Anyone here is a fan of The Handmaid's Tale? Hulu dropped the first 3 episodes of the new season.
I thought that show was really good, and then the 3rd season was getting a little weird. It wasn't as good story, so we dropped off.
I think that movie is like, it's nothing more than drama porn is all it is. You know, it's just like, here's how bad things can get. Now orgasm.
So like Game of Thrones, but worse?
Oh no, we're talking like Game of Thrones has levity.
So Game of Thrones, but like misery porn.
Yeah. It's good though, but it's crazy. Hold on. Does Jarbo like or hate Dwayne The Rock Johnson? No, I like him.
I'm never gonna live down The Rock memes, man.
I don't care.
People love debating The Rock with you.
I know. I don't care. I think it's funny. Like, it's just funny that like a shit post got people that upset. So, because it's like, okay, it's just a shit post is all it is. But all right, guys. Well, I'm gonna call it a day. So I appreciate everyone coming on in. Thank you very much for the likes and apparently a lot of dislikes too.
I mean, if they remove it, it's going to hurt you.
I don't care. I think it's pretty funny. We got 53 likes to 29 dislikes. I'll take it. I appreciate it. And I'll definitely be on tomorrow as well. I don't know if I'll be on around this time, but maybe it might be a little bit later. And I appreciate everyone coming on. Be sure to check out Mad Max and RJ's channel. And we'll talk again soon. Thanks, everybody. Peace out.